In this episode, a gang of sharks violently attacks a girl who is swimming in the water next to a flock of dolphins. While all this is happening, the guy on the beach throws himself into the ocean, trying to fight off the sharks and save his life. Click the like and subscribe buttons right now. Sarah Whiley was subjected to a terrifying shark attack, during which a pack of bull sharks tore her to pieces. As Sarah Whiley found out in 2006, after she was attacked by voracious bull sharks, Sarah Whiley, who was 21 at the time, decided to go swimming with some of her church friends in 2006. Pursuing her goal of becoming an occupational therapist, she has always been a very purposeful girl who made her parents happy. That weekend, they all decided to go to Amity Point Beach, as they had been there before and were familiar with the local seas. The prospect of the cliff directly below them and the vast depths only excited them more, as they enjoyed swimming further than most people would dare. They often entered the Rainbow Channel by swimming. This gave them the opportunity to swim alone. However, today they decided to stay a little closer to land. The water was more muddy and frightening than usual due to previous storms, which caused it to be churned up by sand and debris. The girls, however, showed no signs of fear. The area they chose to explore was also a favorite spot for fishermen, who were now throwing the remains of their catch into the ocean, where the blood and guts would attract sharks to feast. The Rainbow Channel was also surrounded by drum lines, which use food tied to hooks to lure sharks out of crowded bathing areas and lure dangerous sharks into a trap near them. In an effort to capture the sunset while swimming, the band members decided to start bathing in the early evening. Only a few families were playing with their children on the sand of the beach, which was mostly deserted. They mostly stayed in shallow water, but eventually decided to move a little further away. Together with 3 other people, Sarah swam into the sea 15 meters from land. For a while, they continued to swim and talk among the swirling waves, treading carefully on the water. They were amazed by the fish swimming beneath them, as the water was still quite clear and they could see far below them. After a while, Sarah decided that she wanted to move forward. She wanted to see how close she could get to the dolphins, hoping they would swim closer to her. In the distance, they saw a flock of dolphins. She swam beyond the line of drums into the darker waters of the deeper sections of the Rainbow Channel. When Sarah was suddenly swept under the water, she had just moved 5 meters away from her friends and planned to continue moving. Before Sarah realized she couldn't breathe anymore, she felt pain in her leg. It was a strong, excruciating agony that did not allow me to think about anything else that was happening. She made an effort to fight off what was biting and hurting her. However, it was too strong. When she tried to hit him, she felt another, much stronger pain in her arm. She tried to pull her hand away from the agony when she realized that it had partially subsided. When one shark latched onto her leg and another tried to tear her apart, one limb at a time, she was in survival mode. The same agony gripped her when she struck with her other hand. Her leg was immediately released as the shark latched onto her as well. Then, she managed to get back to the surface. Her blood was all around her and blocking all other views. Although she was rapidly losing consciousness, she was still able to shout out something that she knew would be heard by her buddies. Despite the fact that Sarah joked about sharks, he realized that something was wrong when he heard how she was suffering. Her screams conveyed her true terror and desperate need for salvation. Josiah, without stopping, jumped into the shark-infested sea and swam as fast as he could to the young lady. Although he had never seen sharks, he had heard of people hitting them with their hands and feet to drive them away. And that was his strategy. All he had to do was get to her before the sharks came back and killed her. When he got closer to Sarah, who could barely keep her head above the water now, the water turned even more crimson. Looking around, he didn't see any sharks, but he could see the damage they had done to poor Sarah. Before he could get her to dry land, he was afraid she would drown, as Sarah's blood surrounded them both and flowed out of her body at an alarming rate. He had to swim 15 meters back to safety. They eventually made it back to shore, and Josiah pulled her out of the ocean after a terrifyingly long swim. The sharks couldn't hurt Sarah anymore. Her life was still in danger despite her injuries. People on the beach tried to stop the blood gushing from Sarah's hands by quickly bandaging her wounds. they could see how seriously she was injured. The sharks tore off her arms and left huge gaping sores on her right thigh and chest. All they could do was talk to her again, trying to keep her awake, but she was fading fast. Her body was quickly suffering from everything that had happened. Ambulance staff struggled with loose sand, which crumbled under their feet, while he was dragged away on a stretcher. In the end, they got into their car and drove her 2 kilometers to the district hospital. Unfortunately, when they got there, they didn't have the tools needed to save her life, so they requested a helicopter to take her to the Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane. An hour after the attack, she arrived at the hospital, but by that time, she had already lost too much blood. Unfortunately, Sarah died in the hospital from hypovolemic shock. Josiah was praised as a hero for risking his life to save a stranger, and people started looking for guilty sharks. It was discovered that Sarah was attacked by several bull sharks. This species was often hunted in groups during the summer months. Shock lines were installed in the Rainbow Channel specifically to catch bull sharks, which were common there. Experts agreed that the bull shark is most likely to blame, since it is very aggressive and, as is known, combs shallow waters in search of food. It was found that the drumlines failed to properly protect the region. However, swimmers were not designed to swim as far as Sarah did. In any case, a shark hunt was launched, but nothing was found. The only thing left for Sarah's family to do was to bury their child. Quentin Bryce, the governor of Queensland, awarded Josiah the Medal for bravery. Because of this, she made every effort to survive, despite the fact that the sharks cut her hands. Josiah gave his 6th child the name Sarah in her honor and in memory of Sarah, who was taken away by God. Bull sharks often hunt by themselves, and they rarely go out hunting in groups. However, it is not unusual to see many bull sharks together, especially in places where there are many food sources. In such situations, they can attack the same animal and fight with each other for food, but they do not work together on hunting as wolves or lions do. However, sometimes it happens that people are attacked by several sharks at once, which increases the likelihood that the victim will suffer a terrible end.